right. Welcome back to another Showdown Breakdown. Thursday night football edition. We got the Bills at the Texans in this one, 43.5 point total. Lots of little news nuggets coming out for this game right now. So I want to jump right into it. Got Bobbywow, aka Bobby Millions, with me. Got to get the millions to break it all down.
Let's go.
Bobbywow, couple of quick notes. First, Dalton Kincaid is out for this game again, so he will remain on the shelf for the Bills. The other really interesting note is it looks like rumor has it that they're going to just straight disciplinary reasons sit Keon Coleman again for this game.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I'm seeing as well. So he is going to be benched for a second straight game here. Means we got to pay attention to guys like Tyrell Shavers.
Yeah, a lot of garbage on this team. We also know from a defensive standpoint, Houston has a super elite CB1 on their team in Stingley, but might be as good as anybody, right? He is a shutdown quarterback. He's as good as anybody in the league, whatever, right? But who the hell's he on? Who's he going to actually be covering? I genuinely don't know, because who the hell are you putting him on in this game? Khalil Shakir's out of the slot. I don't know what his deal is. And Palmer, Josh Palmer, Gaby Davis. We got a lot of names to go over on this slate, guys. Let's get into at least what the Bills are doing this week should mirror what they did last week, as they didn't have Coleman in last week's game as well. So let's take a look here at the matchups tool and just get a sense. So straight up, right off the bat, running back position, James Cook, 66% snap count. Ty Johnson getting in there for his usual 30% last week, with most of the carries going to Cook, and Ty Johnson getting a reception or two. Ty Johnson, turd value on a slate like this, with Cook in a tough matchup against a pretty primed up Houston at home run defense. Tough one.
Yep.
Tough matchup. All right, so let's take a quick gander here at the tight end from last week, and it was Dawson Knox in there getting a couple targets, doing his usual thing, 76% snaps. Jackson Hawes and Latu mixed in a little bit there for turd exposures. Seems like Jackson Hawes shows up Jackson Hawes seems like a showdown turd.
He does, and he's got some pass catching chops too. So it would not shock me. We didn't see it last week at all, but that could change. So yeah, I think he is a turd that in MME I'll have a little bit of exposure to.
There we go. Bobbywow still carrying the cold from the Monday showdown.
Probably a new cold, yeah.
A fresh one in that household. So many kids in the house. It's just
it's a circus, man.
It's a parade of the flu.
Parade of sickness.
Oh, the worst. The worst. All right. Wide receiver group. This is where the money's going to be made, guys, and good luck figuring this shit out. Okay? All right. Just the snap counts from last week, okay? K-Shack, only 53%. That's kind of interesting. Target share drop, snap count dropped a little bit. Josh Palmer finally getting some work. Weirdly, 50% snaps. Got some targets as well. And then you got the newbies being worked in. 41% Gaby Davis and 53% Tyrell Shavers. Honestly, this is one of the weirdest distributions of snaps for wide receivers that you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird as hell. Everybody 50%.
It's gross.
Yeah, they're just mixing them in for no good reason. That's fucking weird, right? So I don't really like any of these guys to put up a monster score.
No, I mean it was Tyrell Shavers that had the career day last week. And frankly, it could be any one of them, right? We know what we know about the Bills is they are not a prolific passing team in the sense that they don't hone, Josh Allen doesn't hone in on one or two guys. It doesn't matter who's on the field. He's not going to hone in on one guy. So to me, K-Shack is seemingly the top dog, but last week, again, the same Bills kind of strategy played out where he didn't get a ton of the work. He dipped. Even though that Keon Coleman was out, he dipped in targets. So I think you need exposure to all four guys.
Gross. Sickening. This whole thing is gross at wide receiver for the Bills, and it's not better at tight end. So naked Allen, James Cook, possible, all in a bad matchup.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gear. Talk about Davis Mills, aka Pencil Neck, and crew. So last week, and this was the first thing that I went to see was what's the deal with Woody Marks? What was the snap counts? What happened with Woody Marks last week? And I will say, Woody Marks did everything that you wanted him to do. Remember, we got into last week thinking, hey, is this finally the week where Woody Marks kind of takes over for Nick Chubb? We played him a little bit in DFS last week, and he did deliver. So let's take a look at the actual game log for Woody Marks, and he did pretty much the stuff that you want a running back to do outside of putting up a good fantasy score, which would be nice. But he got the 18 carries. He got a target. We know he can catch a pass. He caught a couple targets from Pencil Neck the week before as well. Right? So Woody Marks, okay. Nick Chubb does not set up well in this matchup at all, outside of like the fact that he probably would be in the game for a goal line smash. But beyond that, he only got 3 carries last week, really against a Tennessee team that you would think would have encouraged a lot of snaps for someone like Chubb, right?
Right.
So what does this tell us? I mean, to me, I have to infer that, yeah, they figured out that they're probably going to play a little more Woody Marks here, that Chubb is kind of dusty, and Chubb kind of gets that sort of Kareem Hunt, hey, if we're at the goal line and we need some fatty to smash it in, we'll give it to Nick, but, we'll have Marks kind of in the middle of the field. One interesting side note here is that the Bills are particularly vulnerable to the run this year. That's where they've been getting torched.
Very bad. Yes.
Yeah. Like not through the air. They've been good defensively against quarterbacks and wide receivers, but they've been getting smoked a little bit via running back. So Woody Marks, there we go. Let's take a look at the rest of this Houston team and see what the heck is going on. At tight end, we got Dalton Schultz in there pretty much all the snaps. Just 21% target share. Dalton Schultz has been as good as it gets as a pass catcher alongside of Davis Mills. Mills clearly likes to throw to Schultz. He's been as good as anybody. And the other two names, as a matter of fact, I think it's pretty clear. I like this side of this game. This side is more exciting to play because you got Nico Collins there coming in with dominant 25% target share, multiple weeks in a row. And now Jaden Higgins is the clear-cut WR2 on the team. Snap count increasing week to week. Target share up from 9% on the season to 17% last week, which could be an anomaly, but it's been like that with Higgins for the last couple of weeks. And then finally, you got the mix in of Christian Kirk, Jalen Noel, and Xavier Hutchinson, and sort of all the rest of these guys. I do think Kirk and Hutchinson are like reasonable turds here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like they mix in a lot. They're mixing in quite a bit. So it's mostly Collins, Higgins, and then one of Kirk or Hutchinson. That's just how they seem to run the offense. Braxton Berrios, I'm not worried about him. He's got a great life. Do you know who his girlfriend is?
No, I do not.
Yeah, Alex Earl. Look her up. Like Braxton Berrios has a brand name girlfriend.
Oh, geez.
Like she has a brand name. Like you know the name of them. That's something unusual. So he's living large. I wish I was Braxton Berrios in a lot of ways. Doesn't have to play that much. Gets paid millions. Alex Earl. Yeah, I believe that's the name. All right, there we go. Both teams covered. Let's take a look at what the captain ownerships might be, Bobbywow, for this week. Our projections. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got, yeah, it makes sense. Josh Allen, top dog. Gaby Davis, excuse me? That's a weird one.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, that's a weird one. So I wasn't expecting to see Gabriel Davis as the second or third highest owned
what are we doing?
Captain here. I mean, you know what? He's really cheap. And it allows you to afford a lot. So
this is no, I wish I started. This is weird.
Yeah,
this is weird, man.
Yeah, it's odd ownerships. I'm internalizing how Gabriel Davis. It's just so cheap, and I think the thought is that Davis will continue to elevate his usage. He was on this team before. They really need the Gabriel Davis rollback. Like that's what they tried to give to Keon Coleman, but it was a spectacular fail, I guess. Yeah,
I don't know that I could do it.
Yeah, this is a crazy question. The 40x micro booster is great, but like, you know, you're not going to cash. That's a top 1% lineup to cash, or a top 2% or so. You should have something beyond just a 40x micro booster for that lineup, like, you know, like a 4x as well. But yeah, 40x is fine, but add something else in, or you're going to have a lot of, this is going to be a lot of variance if you try to play that. All right. Josh Allen, top dog. James Cook, I get it, although in a terrible matchup.
Terrible.
The worst. And then Davis. Nico Collins makes a lot more sense to me than any of these guys.
Yeah, to me, Nico easily should be the second highest owned, or, you know, the second highest owned by far, and he's not.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the price is up there. I get it, because it's like it's like the gravitational force wants to suck us in to just playing Josh Allen. So I get that. But like Nico Collins has had really good results with Davis Mills. So like he clearly is going to just lock into him. And by the way, I don't mind playing some Jaden Higgins captain. If I'm going to get cheap with someone, this guy's got a 20% target share. He's a big play wide receiver, or conceptually he should be at 2%. I'd rather do that. I don't mind that one.
Yeah.
So Ray Davis makes no sense as a captain at all, and here he is. So I don't know. There's some unusual ownerships here. I think. What about Dalton Schultz? Can he be captain worthy?
I suppose. Yeah. Right. If you're going to target, it feels like the tight end. He's the tight end to target in this game. He's having a career year this season, and Davis Mills is lighting him up. So I don't see why not. I mean, he's not sexy, but to me, he's a better captain play than Gabe Davis.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Davis, I can make an argument for Davis. Here's my argument for it, because there is an argument out there that's pushing this. This isn't by accident.
Tell me on it.
The argument is, hey, he's been with Josh Allen before, and he's had big games where he was a touchdown catcher, deep ball guy. Why can't he relive that glory?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and we've had those guys. We have those guys on every showdown, but we've never seen them 10% owned.
Yeah, normally I would be kind of going 5% turd exposure on somebody like that. Not necessarily like, I got to go over the field at 15%. That's about as much as you do for anybody. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
And I guess I got to see how lineup construction comes together, because to me, it's not like a slate where you're trying to jam in Josh Allen and James Cook, right? It's not like we got to get both those guys into the lineup. In fact, I'm probably avoiding both those guys in a lot of my lineups. So I'm just curious how salary will come together then.
Yeah. Now, another name here, 7% Woody Marks, starting running back in a soft matchup at home. He is the underdog running back, but man, if they throw to him a couple times, it would not take a whole lot. I don't see this game producing anybody who scores 25 plus. Let me start there. I don't really see a lot of like 25 plus point scorers here. Maybe Nico could get there. Like I think like one guy could get there here, or then Josh Allen can obviously get there, but I don't see like a lot of that. I think we're gonna just need the raw points. Like James Cook might get a 14 for his price, and that might actually be all it is. So I don't necessarily want to completely disallow it, but yeah. Remember what happened this past weekend, right? Sean Tucker absolutely decimated. This Bills defense doesn't seem to be able to tackle or stop running back big plays. We just haven't seen Woody Marks do any of those kind of big plays yet.
Yeah, and he really had a great opportunity last week and dropped the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, it should have been last week and it didn't happen. But you know what? A lot of times it's a week early. You know how often we do that? Oh, fuck this guy now. And then we were a week too soon.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not that situation where we're saying it's just, he's not as obvious as maybe he would have been had he just smashed in a smash spot.
John says this is the week. This is the week for
I love it.
Woody Marks. And yes, Tijuana Madman, this is definitely or very likely another primetime stinker. Like, we got to get used to it, man. We keep having these. Got to get used to these stinkers. Kickers, good. Jaden Higgins, good. Shavers, not a captain-worthy guy. So, Bobbywow, for our captain pool, Allen, Cook, sure. Collins and Woody Marks. And then what?
That's where I'm going to be living. I'm going to be living with Josh Allen, Nico Collins, and Woody Marks. Those are my favorite three captains.
Not even
and it's
James
not
Cook.
Particularly close. No, not even James Cook.
There we go. So those three, mix a little Cook in there because you never know. But again, brutal matchup. You don't want like running back against elite rushing defense. Not that good, by the way. Preview for Sunday slate. Chase Brown is the highest owned projected running back right now, going up against the number 2 ranked Patriots rush defense. How do you like them apples?
Jeez.
I mean, crazy. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's what's going on. Am I concerned script will hurt Marks? No, I actually think that the script will help Marks almost however it goes.
Yeah, you see, I don't know, like concerned is the right word. I don't have confidence in Marks. I think that's the issue for me is that, we saw it last week. He finally got the bulk of the work for a second straight week, and he really dropped the ball. Like he did not look good at all. So that is the concern. Maybe they, give Chubb some more carries here. But to me, if you're the Texans, what do you have to lose? You've already gone to Marks. I don't know that you're going back here. And you know what? Like you said, sometimes just a week late. This is another great opportunity for him. The ownership kind of reflects the uncertainty, and so that's kind of what I'm rolling with.
Yeah, I think the question and in the confidence question is exactly what you said, which is, does he suck? Like, is he good?
And he might not be good.
He might not just not be that good of a player, and like he might not have that much talent. Doesn't mean every running back, even a mediocre or NFL caliber or what they call replacement level running back, those guys will have good games every once in a while, but they're not going to create a whole lot of goodness in these games, I guess, right? So that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, I don't know if Marks is actually an above par talent. Doesn't always matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah, but the sieve that is this Bills rush defense might just allow for him to pop on his own. So I like that. Anybody else though? I like Davis. It seems like somebody I will not be able to get leverage on because who the fuck wants to go more than 10% on Gabriel Davis?
I just don't. I'm really struggling with the Gabe Davis thing. I'm really struggling with the 10%. I just can't get past it. I'm sorry. Like you know me, I'm as contrarian as it gets. I support all these things, but nothing lines up for me. I understand what could happen here with Gabe Davis. The guy's played one game. He's played one game.
He was in there, but he has experience with this offense. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He just slides right in.
Even if we could turn back the clock and it was 2020 or whenever 2022, I don't remember when this was, when he would pop once every 10 weeks. I'm not rostering him for 10% captain even then. Now we're more uncertain with him.
Like, not for 10%. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. But you would agree that in the Gabriel Davis Bills tenure, he did produce the occasional nuts captain score.
He did.
Role that he played.
And of course, now that I'm going on this rant, he's going to do it again tonight.
Yeah,
but even I think Dalton Schultz, I know he's a little more expensive. He makes way more sense to me
at captain than Gabe Davis does.
So
even K-Shack, like K-Shack is the one guy in the Bills. I know you don't like him, but he's the one guy in the Bills that could get it done. He's got an 18 earlier this season. He's got a 21. Like, this guy could certainly get it done. He is their WR1. So I'm not playing a ton of K-Shack either. I'm just shocked at the Gabe Davis ownership.
Who is Stingley going to be on?
I don't know that Stingley's going to shadow anybody here. Why would you have him shadow when all of the Bills wide receivers are pretty much equally mid?
That's one of the things I have a problem with.
Is this Shavers? This is the guy who had the big week last week?
Tyrell Shavers comes in last week. No one's ever heard of this guy. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown. One of the best Bills wide receiver lines of the last 2 seasons. It's almost as good as it's gotten in 2 years for these guys. Who the fuck is that guy? Where'd he come from?
Right, and you're telling me his captain ownership's 1% compared to Gabe's 10%?
What if it's Shavers, guys? What if it's Shavers?
He's absurdly cheap, Shavers.
Shavers, Allen,
Collins,
Mills. Who else? Schultz. Kicker. Done. That's a show. Thanks, everybody. Figured it out. Just kidding. All right. So, yeah, Tyrell Shavers. Got a lot of turds here. A lot of weird.
You need the savings. My God. Because you don't have either running back in there.
I forgot to get Woody Marks in there. Wait, where's Woody? Yeah, get Marks in there. Oh, my God. Woody's expensive. That's the problem. That's why he's not that highly owned. 9,200 is a fucking shit ton to pay for a guy that hasn't done anything ever in his whole career. There you go. Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis for the last spot. There we go. Done. I'm putting this one in. That's how much I love it. That's an actual lineup that I'm going to use. Yeah, I like it. Some people were holding out hope for Mixon. I ruled him out like in August in best ball season, and actually in July. I was like, yeah, this ain't good. Gabriel Davis not on the depth chart. Will he be?
He's going to play. Gabe Davis is going to play.
John Marchese wants to make sure that we know he's not playing Gabriel Davis today, but lock in Woody Marks. John did give us the Sean Tucker play amongst others. So those plays should be respected. All right. Any turds here? Do we need to? So let me just scroll down to the turd zone. The scrub zone. And let's see, is anybody even viable? Elijah Moore. Is that a viable play? He hasn't gotten any kind of snaps.
I think he was a healthy scratch last week, but I'm guessing he's going to be in there for Curtis Samuel. No, I'm probably not going to touch him.
Not good there. Ty Johnson, he's the kind of guy that in these games against a good rush defense, Ty Johnson comes in, catches a deep ball, could pop. I think that's a turd worthy of some lineups. Unfortunate salary aside.
Yeah, he's kind of interesting because I guess what's interesting to me is that he has become the full-time backup in a sense. Like in the past, we've seen Ray Davis kind of mix in there. Both those guys were getting the same number of turdly snaps. Ty Johnson seems to be like the clear-cut backup behind Cook, which is noteworthy. Doesn't mean play a ton of them, but it's just kind of noteworthy to me.
I'll give a little argument for Ty Johnson here, and it's just they do throw to him. Like he actually lines up wide at times because he's the guy they bring in on like those third down plays. And they do run designed routes for him. In other words, on a team like the Texans that are very tough to run against, it might be an interesting thing where they bring in Ty Johnson and actually toss him a deep ball, and he could do one of those miraculous receptions that he's had in the past. We've seen him do it with Ty Johnson before, where he gets there not by rushing the football, but by catching a deep ball, kind of the style of what Samaje Perine would occasionally do with the Bengals in that role.
Yep.
So I think Ty Johnson, not captain worthy, but turd viable. I'm not going to play Nick Chubb at all. I don't give a fuck. Not happening. Let's look at wide receivers here. When I'm like diving for turds, Higgins not a turd. Higgins is a primary play at 4,600. I just like that play, right? He's just a good play. Xavier Hutchinson at 3K still gets in the game a little bit. He could, be mildly interesting, I guess. And Jalen Noel, mildly interesting at 1,600. Very mild. Never mix those guys. One, not the other. Never both. Locking in Woody Marks at captain, I think it's intense. That's an intense dice roll on someone. Could work. He's just too expensive. My problem with Woody Marks is like I want him for 6K. When you play him a captain 9K, you're really playing one of the most expensive guys.
Good of a spot as it gets, though.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, TJ got it done. That's right.
Yeah, I would say the other guy that we're not showing much love to, but he could get it done for cheap is in the flex, not captain, is Dawson Knox.
Ugh.
He is not a sexy play by any means, but he's the starting tight end. He's going to get his reps at 4K.
Man, he's a stinker. He's a stinker play. I think it's playable because the Houston defense, one of my little DFS / fantasy football cheat codes in life is if we're up against a nasty defense, it's usually the tight end that seems to benefit the most in those type of games. Just pay attention to that. That is a thing that happens. Multiple reasons why, but a lot of times it's because the quarterback's under pressure and they're quick releasing it to the tight end. Yep. And it just leads to bigger scores from the tight end position on occasion. So that works in the favor of Dawson Knox. What works not in the favor is he's been on this team for years. And man, this guy's 15-point performances are measurable on like one hand.
Yeah, but with Kincaid out.
Yeah, you'd expect a little. But even without Kincaid, it hasn't been that great, in fairness.
Yeah,
but yeah,
agreed.
Why not? He's a starting tight end.
Great play.
Yeah. I don't know if it's captain. I think it's flex viable.
No, definitely not. I said not captain. It's
okay, because I was like, I don't know. I don't see this big game enough to get to the captain spot. But the flex, yeah, for sure. He catch touchdown all day. Maybe he get 2 touchdowns in this game. Would not blow my mind. Would not blow my mind at all. Have no idea. No idea. Kickers, yes. Love both kickers here. I don't think it's Fairbairn, right? Are people saying Fairbairn's out for this game? It'll be the other guy?
That's what I'm seeing in the chat here, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't care who the kicker is. It's, it's in Houston, beautiful weather conditions, no issues. Should be a good kicking slate. I say both kickers. Both. Not Fairbairn, whoever the hell the other guy is. Hang on. Wait, why? Oh, I'm showing under exclusions. Matthew Wright, if it's Matthew Wright.
I'm seeing Fairbairn expected to play, so I'm
not
really
why?
sure.
Oh, just zeroed out the other guy. Okay, there it is. So that's what's going on. I say yes. And I also say with Fairbairn that he's just as good of a kicker as Prater. For, I don't know why one's higher owned than the other.
Yeah, Fairbairn going to play.
Yeah, Fairbairn's an elite kicker when he plays. So he's very good. Also, both defenses in play, guys. This could be the double defense, double kicker slate we've all been waiting for. This could be it. Bobby, what do you think? No? You're not on board?
No.
Because it's pencil neck. That dude's going to make a mistake.
Yeah, of course.
And then the Bills, who I don't like playing Houston defense against the Bills, but like that's the sneaky part. I think Bills defense. So let's just, Bills not an actual real world good defense. I get it, but definitely a better defensive play this week than Texans, just because the Bills have Josh Allen as their quarterback and the Texans have Davis Mills. Let's not forget that there's a big difference between Josh Allen. I don't like taking defenses against Josh Allen. That doesn't generally pay off. Every once in a while, he has a brain fart game, but normally that doesn't generally pay off.
Yeah.
But defenses against Davis Mills, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll be super sneaky, but certainly in play. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got our turds. We got our top plays. Let's see if we can make a lineup that's a little more reasonable than what I just slapped together. With like a Nico Collins captain. Nico, you said Josh Allen, Nico Collins, Woody Marks, your top three?
Yep.
Okay. So if we play Nico, we got to get Allen in the lineup too. Tough matchup, don't care. $5K left. So this spends a lot of our salary. I don't know if you can hear the landscapers are outside going crazy. Does that come through my microphone? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're so loud out there. I don't even know what to do. It's always during this show. They always seem to show up like Thursdays at noon. Literally, that's just like the schedule outside. They're one day a week, but it's exactly when we do this. Kickers, yeah, definitely. I like both kickers, man. I fucking play both kickers. Fairbairn.
You're gonna want a super cheapie in here. You're gonna want either Shavers or Knox. One of those guys that's just real cheap.
Throw some Shavers in there. 8,200 last spot. If if I like, we got Schultz, we got K-Shack. Can't quite get to Woody. I wouldn't mind getting Marks in this lineup, which means I need to try to figure out something or Davis Mills, really.
Yeah, because with Collins at captain, it's relatively likely that Mills is going to get there as well.
Let me take Prater out. And here you'd go like Davis and Shavers with Allen, Collins, Fairbairn, Woody Marks.
It's tough, man.
I'm not hating this. Right?
I'd rather Davis Mills over Marks, just because you got Nico a captain, but doesn't matter either way.
Yeah. Okay. I don't mind it. Something like that. So I think the approach today is, as far as DraftKings goes for me, I'm going to assume that this game is not a super high scoring affair.
It's a safe assumption.
43.5 point total, low total. Houston can move the football against a mediocre Bills defense. Bills have a tougher time. They slow the game down. They run it heavy, just trying to get the W. Lots of field goals. Or Houston pops off to a lead early at home. You know what Burns has been talking about all season? Road favorites disappointing. Another road favorite facing a tough defense. Like, we could get a disappointment from the Bills, and they just don't do that much on offense, but squeeze out a win at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
Onslaught, Houston, run back with Allen. That's wild. Yeah, but the matchup does dictate that too. It's like, for the Bills, it's just all the scoring comes from Josh Allen and things he's doing. Let's talk about Cook for a second. It's a tough matchup for Cook.
Yeah, it's very tough. He's not priced friendly at all. You know, Josh Allen continues to score rushing touchdowns. I mean, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns last week. He's King Vulture. And it's like you said, it's a really tough matchup. So it's tough for me to make a case for James Cook this week, other than being a little contrarian.
Or it could be that game, and a couple of guys in the chat are talking about it now. It could be that random game, because Cook can catch a pass. He came in as a pass catcher, but if you look at his split, his logs, yeah, every once in a while, 5, 1, 0, 0, 1, 3. Like, he could pop for some receptions every once in a while. There's a 5-bagger, another 5-bagger.
He caught a touchdown last week.
Yeah. It's usually really helpful if he gets involved in the passing game. 66 yards. Most of the damage last week done via the pass. So that could happen here too. That's it could be Ty Johnson, or it could just be Cook that gets a little business, take care of a little TCB, take care of business via the pass.
Yep.
Take care of TCB. All right. That pretty much covers us, I think, for DraftKings. Let's jump over to FanDuel and take a quick look at what we have going on here in terms of ownerships and exposures. By the way, Bobbywow,
Yeah.
a little spoiler alert for the main slate on Sunday. Core play, Emmanuel Wilson, I mean.
Oh my God, that Emmanuel Sanders, that name threw me for a loop there. That's an oldie.
Manny Sanders. Was that an old wide receiver? Why did that pop in my head?
Yeah, I think he's played for the Broncos, right?
Like a Steelers wide receiver, I think.
No, Broncos. Well, I might have played for the Steelers, but I feel like he played for the Broncos for a little while.
Manny Wilson, if Josh Jacobs doesn't play, all in.
He did play for the Steelers too. You're right. Started his career there.
Yeah, I thought so. I got all kinds of names floating around in there. All in.
He played with Tim Tebow, I think, which is part of why I remember him, and in Denver.
Love Tebow. All right, MVP spot on FanDuel. Dude, this just cannot be right.
Something's screwed up here. Something is messed up in a bad way.
Yeah, this is just bizarre. But anyway, I don't know. I don't buy this. Josh Allen, Christian Kirk. Is this Christian Kirk? Ray Davis? No, there's something off about this. Wait, I'll have him look at it. These numbers are not right. You know what? I'm not even going to say anything. We're going to take a look at that. Something's off about this. So I'm not buying these numbers. Mostly it's going to be Josh Allen. It's going to be Woody Marks.
Yeah, ownership. Don't look at ownership here, guys. This is not.
Yeah,
there's a little glitch.
That. Yeah, that's off. Kevin Delop agrees with the Emmanuel Wilson call. How the hell did you? Oh, in showdowns. All right, I love it. All right, let's just go over to FanDuel on our own. Forget all that shit, and we're going to go through who we think the best captain plays are. Obviously, Josh Allen is the top dog on FanDuel. FanDuel rewards wide receivers and quarterbacks. I will say this, Bobby.
Running backs and quarterbacks.
Running backs and quarterbacks well over wide receivers and pass catchers. The other shit, forget about it. But I think Davis Mills could be used here too in a Cook lineup like that. If Cook dominates, if Josh Allen's not doing much, I guess you could use Mills. But if I'm using Josh Allen up top, I'm probably not going to use Cook. It's a tough combo. Once you pair up these two, you're pretty much just literally riding the turd zone for the rest of it, which is not great.
Yeah, the only way I could see both those guys getting there is if it's a complete Bills domination. If the Bills pound the Texans 35-7, then I could see both Cook and Allen getting there together. If one's an MVP, otherwise it's really tough for me to make a compelling case. So I will have, especially if one's MVP, I will be very underweight on the other guy.
Yeah, just I'll probably do a sim boost of some sort. That if Allen is in the lineup, I'll reduce James Cook by 10%, vice versa. So I'll do some sort of a boost to reduce the occurrence of those two showing up together. They could definitely both hit together.
Yes, it's possible for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to fully eliminate it, but at the same time, every time James Cook is running for a touchdown, that's Josh Allen not throwing or running for that touchdown. And at his price, that's a pretty big ask. I do like Woody Marks here. So yeah, at 10.5, that's a reasonable price point for Woody Marks. I like kickers. So let's say we throw some kickers in there, a little Matt Prater. I think this is a place where we can rely on this week. Some kickers. I mean, you could pretty much build a decent enough lineup. Where's let's see, where's Jaden Higgins? Jaden Higgins, where is he? Jaden Higgins. Can't find him. There we go. 7,600. Oof. So if you wanted to pair up Mills with a pass catcher and it wasn't, I kind of like this. How about that? Higgins and Ty Johnson. Ooh, this one's nasty. This is a tourney winner.
That is nasty.
Right?
That is nasty.
It fits perfect too. I love spending.
Nasty, but it's one of them.
I love when I spend the whole salary. Guys, we don't think Coleman is going to be active tonight. All information is that he won't, so I wouldn't worry. Or obviously, if that changes, great, but that's not what the information is right now. Yeah, and McNasty's right. There's a great chance that this game is not going to be one that produces a lot of big scores. So that's why I also think kickers are really much more playable even this week than they normally are. Because a field goal kicker, I mean, they can get to 12 points, no problem. 3 field goals, 1 long one, especially in a dome. I think these kickers are the key. Kickers are the key tonight. Play some Bills defense as well. Bills defense, both kickers, Josh Allen, Woody Marks, Collins, Jaden Higgins. That's who I want to build around.
I think, to me, Schultz is a safer play across the board than Jaden Higgins is.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's cheaper.
Is he?
But
where's his price point here?
I think he's 76. I think.
Okay, about the same. Okay, yeah, I'm super cool with this too. Actually, I like it better. You're right. I like it.
I think his props projection is significantly higher than Higgins, and I think both are still viable. And I like that in tournaments with Higgins, but I think Schultz has definitely got a bit more of a floor here.
Higgins propping out at 5.4, not nearly as good as Schultz, who's coming in at almost 8. So massively better. Good call, Bobby. Massively better just to play Schultz. And as a matter of fact, I think you got to just play Schultz on FanDuel quite a bit. We want these touchdown scorers, and Schultz, being the tight end, that's going to be a higher touchdown likelihood than Jaden Higgins, than like a WR2. You're more likely to throw. You're more likely to throw it to the tight end for the touchdown. And then again, Dawson Knox has that same vibe here on FanDuel for the Bills. 4,600 for Dawson. I like him even better here on FanDuel because he's a touchdown scorer. That's what Knox is going to do. He will not do a whole lot between the 20s, but he can catch a touchdown. He can get 2 of them.
Yeah, do not count out Knox. I know we mentioned that up top with DraftKings. He is one of the more intriguing true value plays here that is not a wide receiver turd. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, 4,600. Not bad for Knox. This version of the lineup with Knox and Schultz in it, and you finish it out. Would have loved to get to a defense or a kicker.
Gabe Davis sitting there right for you, Kev.
Yeah, I guess. All right, fine. Fine, Gabe Davis. I've had Gabe Davis sitting on like the bench of one of my dynasty teams just without even a team he's on for like.
Have you really?
Yeah, like sometimes you just let those guys sit because like who the fuck am I picking up in these deep dynasty leagues? So he's been sitting there for a couple of years. I'm like, all right, let's come back to life. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for the Showdown Breakdown NFL Week 12 edition. Kickers, defenses, low-scoring game. Play some offensive pieces from the Texans. They're at home, and the Bills are the less good defensive unit here. With the Houston team certainly not able to shut down the Bills, but slow them down enough to maybe mute or reduce the fantasy upside of a lot of the already reduced and muted pieces from the Bills that aren't Josh Allen.
Yep.
They're already not that great all season. As a matter of fact, I don't think a stacked Josh Allen. Yeah, actually, there were a couple with Kincaid, but all season long, any kind of time that Josh Allen has been the nuts play, it's been unstacked anyway.
Yep.
Unstacked anyway. Gross game. All right, guys. We will be back on Friday at 5 p.m. sharp. Tournament tactics. breaking down the entirety of the NFL Week 12 main slate. Got a lot of great plays already on the board. I've got my sheet mostly done already. Feel really good about a couple of these quarterback, wide receiver stack spots. Got an all-in play at running back. So we got a lot to talk about on Tournament Tactics on Friday, 5 p.m. sharp right here on DFS Army YouTube channel. Do me a favor, guys. If you're out there, you're watching this, you're enjoying the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel just so A, we know you're out there, but B, you'll be notified. It just makes it more likely that when these videos are put out, that YouTube will put it in front of you. And it's free. Like, you don't have to do anything. Just be subscribed so that you'll know. Bobbywow, final thoughts?
I got to go with Josh Allen here. I'm riding the hot hand. I think he'll be in just about every lineup for me. And I think Nico Collins, look, Nico is probably too cheap here, even with, Davis Mills, Davis Mills has gotten Nico the ball more often than Stroud has. So don't sleep on Nico here as a captain option with Woody Marks kind of having a bounce back game. That's kind of the way I see this slate.
Agree. I think Josh Allen, and don't be scared to play pencil neck either. He's fine. But he does definitely hone in on, or he has so far honed in on Nico Collins. That's been great. Bills do not have any kind of cornerback that can stop an elite WR1 or I don't know, is Nico Collins considered elite WR1 or a really good WR1? Either way, yeah. The Bills don't have anything that can stop that per se. So it does seem like that's the path of least resistance. I like it.
And then double tight end for the value. That's where I'm going.
Hit those tight ends, Schultz, Knox. Guys, don't expect an exciting game tonight. It's probably going to be a stinker. Not super fun. You know what? Let me take a look at something here before we pop out. You want to pop onto the Sharp app and see if there's any Proptimizer plays for this game? Let's take a look.
Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, let's take a look. So this is what I do when I want to play some bets on a game. I already bet the Shedeur Sanders play, but I'm just going to go and boil it down to NFL, and I'm going to focus on tonight's game and see what we could figure out here, if there's any good edges. Here we go. All right, so Tyrell Shavers over 22.5 receiving yards. This is a spot with some edge. So Tyrell Shavers, pay attention to him.
Woody Marks receiving? Oh, that's not much of an edge. Okay.
Yeah, no edge here. These, you've got to look for the greens. Palmer over on receiving yards a little bit. Khalil Shakir. So basically, some of the receiving yards overs looks kind of interesting. Here's over 12.5 for Christian Kirk. That could get done. Anything bigger than that? Not a whole lot of significant.
I like that Kirk prop. That's good.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, 12.5 on Kirk on DraftKings. That's solid.
Playable spot. Ooh, the projection model likes over 211 passing yards for Mills. Let's see, what has he done to justify that? So the last 2 games, he's thrown for 270 and 290. This could work.
Yeah, I don't hate that one either.
I like this one. All right, over on FanDuel, over 211 passing yards for Davis Mills. Kind of interesting. Woody Marks. This one is really, I'm not betting that. It's a little too tight. Under 65.5 rushing yards. Although, that's probably going to win also. These edges are really good. By the way I use this tool, Bobbywow, normally I just will have all of the games, not just one. But pretty much you just want to go through this tool, and everything that's a heavy edge like this, I'll just take my normal unit size, I'll split it into 10, and I'll just go through the list. Try to bet like 10 or 12 of these spots. It's a plus EV way of betting as opposed to sitting here trying to figure out what's going to happen. You just take all of the edges on the Proptimizer. It's been very profitable. Like, I think last Sunday I went like 9-2 or something like that. It was crazy. I wasn't expecting that, but that's kind of how this tool works. Very cool stuff, guys. You want to check out Sharp, of course, go to sharp.app, promo code Geek. You can do a free trial, try it out for a couple days. Check it out. Check out the arbitrage tool, Bobbywow. There's money to be made even right now. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there constantly on the Proptimizer, on the arbitrage tool. Free money. Free money. Player rebounds. You could just bet Kalen Bullock over 4.5 tackles and assists. Under 4.5 tackles and assists. You do one on ProfitX, do the other one on DraftKings. You're going to make $10 if you bet 131 on the over, 200 on the under. You're going to lock in $10 profit here, no matter which side hits. That's the beauty of the DFS Army or the Sharp app arbitrage tool. You should check it out. It's $70 a month for this tool. Right here on the screen, I can make the $70 in like five arbs, and then you have it for the rest of the month for free. That's literally how this works. So go check it out, sharp.app, sharp.app/geek. You can do a free trial. Check it out. All right, that's going to do it for the Showdown breakdown. Good luck tonight, everybody. Helmets up. Let's go.